And we are back, folks. Welcome back to season 3 of the Bluegrass Soccercast, your home for all things soccer, right here in the beautiful Commonwealth of Kentucky. My name is Jimmy. That's Mr. John. John, sir, it has been a long time since we have talked. How are you doing?
I'm good, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm good. So for today's episode, we're just getting back into the swing of things. So be patient with us as we continue to make some changes to the show. Couple things we want to go over today. We got some updates to our show that we want to talk about. We've also kind of want to start talking a little bit about the seasons upcoming for all our semi-professional and professional teams over the next several months. And then at the end of the show, we will, of course, take your questions. If you have anything that you want to talk about, make sure you put it down in the chat so that John and I can see it either on YouTube or on X. So, John, what's going on, man? It's been a minute. What's new with you?
Nothing's really new. Still working, same job.
Yeah.
Now
you did get some new
really
accolades, though, right? You got a new press thing, right?
So I had applied to join the North American Soccer Reporters like 6 months ago.
Heck yeah.
And I guess they finally got around to letting in a bunch of people.
Nice.
So and some people have asked questions. From what my understanding was, this is a group similar to the Independent Supporters Council of North America, where they're just a collection of people that kind of like pool resources together and help people like get connections and network. They were fairly active prior to COVID. COVID kind of like messed them up, and now they're like coming post COVID, like new regime kind of thing, and they're trying to like relaunch more heavily.
Awesome. That's legit. Congratulations on that. I didn't even know that was a thing. How did you find out about it?
Someone tagged something on Twitter, and I just followed the account, and it's linked. The application's literally linked to their Twitter page.
All right. So that is awesome. Congratulations, John. We're really excited that you got that accolade, but also that you're, still here as well. Also, I forgot to mention at the start here, congratulations. Oh, you can't really see it because of my mic. Congratulations to University of the Cumberland's women for winning the national champion. Had to support them and get a T-shirt to support the team. John, did you ever get yours?
Yeah, I did. I came straight from work, so I don't got mine on right now.
You a late worker, my friend. Other updates. So we are trying to do some different things on the back end here to try and make this the best podcast that we can be, right? We're not going to dive into the minutia, the deep details of anything, but a couple things that I did want to talk about. We will soon start streaming. We're keeping X and we're keeping YouTube, but we're also working on integrating more TikTok into our content. So we're going to start going live on TikTok just as soon as I can figure out how to make it work. As well as we're going to start going live on Instagram. I thought I had Instagram set up for this live stream, but Instagram apparently has a new stream key for every time that you do a live. Didn't know that, so next time. So make sure
that that's a meta thing.
Oh, is it like that for Facebook too? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I help run my church's like Facebook Live, and each time I set it up, I had to take the Facebook stream key and put it into that system every single time.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting setup. But I guess it keeps things keeps me on my toes. Make sure I have everything ready for the show. Other updates. So we're going to continue covering all of our same professional, semi-professional teams that we have over the years. So for those folks down in Bowling Green, we're continuing to cover the Golden Lions. For my far west,
Plus 2 more.
well, I'll get there. Three more total that we're adding. My folks over in Paducah / Mayfield, Pumas, we're going to continue to cover them. Interesting note on Pumas, though, John, and we were talking about this in our little Discord. Pumas has actually shifted conferences in the UPSL, so they are no longer going to be in the Kentucky Tennessee Premier Division. They are moving over to what is this new conference that they UPSL has formed called the Gateway Conference. I think they call it divisions actually, but conferences seems more in my vernacular.
UPSL calls them conferences
Well, I've seen
from their
both.
website, I believe.
Do they? Okay.
It's also the UPSL, and they have teams that they list teams that like have not played for 3 years, but they're like, oh yeah, they're in our standings. They haven't kicked the ball or played a game in 3 years, but they're in this conference.
We're talking to everybody who's had a team ever in E-Town. Good God. But also, so Pumas, we will continue to cover them. But again, they've moved out of the Kentucky Tennessee Premier Division and into the what did I just say? The Gateway Conference, which is a new conference, which will also include former BGSC guest Austin, who's the owner of Midwest Hooligans. Owner, general manager, media person, and all of that. They have all moved to a more St. Louis based division or conference that will include St. Louis City Academy, who just finished runner up on Saturday night in the UPSL Fall League championship match. Had to really think that one through. So, Pumas, we haven't forgot about you. But as John was saying, there are 3 new teams that have joined the UPSL this year that are all going to be in the Kentucky Tennessee Premier Division. There is one which is in Louisville, and I put that in air quotes for my audio listeners because it is technically Indiana, but it's on that Louisville side of Indiana, like right across the river, in the Southern Indiana FC. And we are working to get somebody on the show from that organization because we want to learn more about it. So for Louisville, that is your UPSL team for this season. I know there had been talks of the Dynamo or maybe Metro coming back. Not happening for the fall for the spring season. Maybe something in the works for the fall, but who knows? It's been a while since I've heard from
The
my source.
Dynamo are effectively dead.
Yeah, that was fast.
Listen, from what I've seen, in all honesty, to the Dynamo out there, from what I've seen, they launched this thing, and then they basically announced that their staff were all working in other organizations as coaches, and I haven't seen anything since. I also always found those announcements I'm not hating, but I found those announcements very interesting. It's like, oh, congratulations to the coach. He's working in this conference. Well, I'm like, what?
Yep.
What? They're like, what about something with you? What are you doing? Not what your coach is doing for another organization.
Right, and it's just one of those weird situations where they're not big enough to be the sole job for somebody, right? They're not bringing that kind of income, so they have to have another job. But for Louisville, your team, Southern Indiana, they're the new team in the Kentucky Tennessee Premier Division, staying in Indiana, even though it's called Kentucky and Tennessee, so whatever. Next, we move down to Bowling Green, where, as John mentioned earlier, there are 2 new teams here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. One being FC Leopards BGKY, which is a team that is mostly comprised of, I don't remember the exact countries they're all from, but a lot of African members of the community down here formed this team. They've been around for several years. They've played in a couple of small competitions. They've played big road games against like Michigan Stars and a few other teams like that over the years. So glad to have them. Still working on getting them on the show as well because we want everybody to know about what they're doing, and especially for the refugee community here in Bowling Green, we want to help emphasize them as well. And then the third team, I'm a little confused on, which is FK Han, which is, from my understanding, a team of mostly Bosnian immigrants that have come that play a lot of what's the word, Sunday League, and they're like the best of the best from the Sunday leagues, and so they're trying their hand now at the UPSL. But the confusion for me comes in when we start talking about where are they going to play, because the Golden Lions, they've moved back to their home at the Bowling Green Junior High School, the Pit, as they call it. FC Leopards has played consistently at one of the parks here in town. So I'm not for sure if FK Han is going to split time at the park or if they're going where their tryouts are, which is actually in Elizabethtown. So that should be kind of interesting. So Elizabethtown, you might be getting in a little bit on the action with FK Han, since that is where they were hosting their tryouts at. But the Kentucky-Tennessee Premier Division has also added teams down in Tennessee. And we'll quickly kind of go over them. They added the Jackson City Boom or Jackson, Tennessee Boom. I can't remember exactly what it was, and I don't have my notes pulled up here. But a new team down in Jackson, Tennessee. They actually competed in the in the fall league, but they are coming back for the spring. They've had some interesting matchups that I've seen. They played FC Chattanooga, I think, in a match. No. They played Chivas Guadalajara U23. That's who they played. Pumas played Chattanooga several months ago. So the Boom seem to be a team that's got some energy behind them, and maybe they've got a little bit of money with them. I don't know. But then the conference really expands by adding not one, but two teams down in Chattanooga, bringing that city's grand total up to four professional and semi-professional teams. And I just accidentally closed that tab. I was trying to click over and hit the wrong button. Oh, no. Where'd it go? We have Paul DePay FC and then Chattanooga United FC. Those are the new teams in the Kentucky-Tennessee Premier Division, along with the teams in Kentucky. So it should be interesting in the Kentucky-Tennessee Premier Division. A nice round, even 9 teams. So I would imagine every team is going to play 8 games, 4 home, 4 and away. What is the other conference? The Gateway Conference with Pumas will have, I think, 6 or 8 teams. 3 or 4 in St. Louis, Pumas, Midwest Hooligans. There's another team in Indiana, between Louisville and Evansville. Southern Indiana Gladiators FC, not to be confused with Southern Indiana FC. They are also new and competing in that division. So should be exciting on the semi-professional level this year. Lots of new teams, lots of new stuff for us to cover. But that is not going to diminish our coverage of Lou City, Racing Louisville, and of course Lexington Sporting Club. We will also be covering Lexington Sporting Club women, and they launch in the fall. Correct, John? August. Yeah. So we've got plenty of time to get.
As of right now, they'll launch in August. The USSF is going to be meeting, I believe, this week. Sometime they will decide the Super League sanctioning.
That'll be
if they're
big.
D1 or not. I don't see a reason why they want to be D1. The women's D1 sanctioning is a lot weaker than the men's side in terms of what you have to do and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see.
So what have you heard on what is the pitch, at least maybe even from Lexington or from any of them? Obviously, they're going pitching for D1, right?
They're going for D1. I guess the pitch is NWSL is not big enough, and that they play in a separate calendar. So they play the classic European calendar. And you got to think about the end right now. I believe the NWSL, in terms of announced teams, if you throw an expansion with the USL, they're at about the same number of teams.
Yeah.
Because, heck, 2 of the NWSL teams are USL teams, like connection-wise. Racing and North Carolina Courage.
Oh, yeah.
So they're never going to switch. I doubt they'll ever switch to the Super League unless Super League gets an influx of money or that sort of thing.
Is the Utah team connected to Real Salt Lake?
Yeah, but they're not USL.
No, I know, but I'm just trying to make the connections because then the rest would be
almost
right?
almost every NWSL team is connected to an MLS team in some fashion. The only ones I can think of that aren't are San Diego, KC. KC is completely independent of Sporting. San
They have
Diego,
their own
obviously,
stadium.
yeah. Which they have their own stadium, and there's already drama going on with that.
What drama?
They decided to sponsorship the supporter section. So it's I don't know the sponsor name, but it's insert sponsor zone or whatever. And a bunch of the supporters voiced displeasure on their personal accounts. And I guess that's led to some issues with the FO, with the current. And I think Bay FC, the new expansion team, is independent of the Quakes, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that are so similarly tied together, they're similar colors, names, etc. But I don't know if
there's also ownership. The Rain are back. Seattle Rain are back. That's the big NWSL news. That's none of the OL
Thank
nonsense.
God.
That was brought back because the Sounders ownership bought that group. This type of stuff.
Got it.
Yeah. And racing is owned by same people type thing, which anyone who's worked on the media side knows that because literally everything they produce has the Lou City logo on the left and the racing logo on the right.
Absolutely. Especially those joint things ticket announcements or special events. Yeah. Soccer Holdings LLC.
No, y'all. Literally anything that they produce that is not club specific that they can double dip has both of those teams on it. The media passes, anything that they can just this doesn't have to be specific to each team, is just both logos.
Absolutely. Speaking of racing, though, John, let's kind of start with there. And the biggest thing that I kind of want to talk about today, we will be doing a full season preview with them on, oh, crud. What is that? The 21st? Yes, February 21st, where we will be joined by the head coach of Racing Louisville, Coach Bev, will be joining us on February 21st. To kind of not spoil things for that, John, I want to talk about this draft class that Racing Louisville has come up with, because I think this draft class has got a lot of dangerous firepower up front, and I'm really interested to see what you think of it so far. Well, not so far, but how they've been developing so far.
How they've developed, I have no idea.
Well, did you like the picks? How are you feeling about it?
Okay, in all honesty, soccer drafts are stupid to me.
Yeah,
they don't. Personally, to me, they don't really make sense. It's very weird to me, especially when you have racing that has an academy that uses players from their academy type thing. But I will say the draft strategy makes sense based on how they went into the expansion draft, because they lost both Page and Themby, not necessarily to the expansion draft, but they lost Page, and then Themby announced, I believe, the largest NWSL transfer of all time to Tigres in Mexico. So they're really down. They lost their two best leading scorers, and they're down to Davis.
Mm-hmm. Which, no
So
disrespect to Davis, but when you lose that kind of
no,
firepower,
that
you've got to pick
she's
something up.
their third last season, I think, by goal tally or by attack. You could argue she was the third best attacker.
Mm-hmm.
Page and Themby were very much the leading attackers. So this draft strategy they've done, which is heavy forward base, makes sense. And I think it goes to show what Coach Bev's strategy is, with her knowing this group and stuff. She very much went in knowing what needed to be done and stuff, which I think was good. And they're ramping up to what should be good as long as rookies perform. They've also brought in some big pieces
Mm-hmm.
as well.
And we'll get into those big additions and stuff like that when we do our full preview. But I'm really excited. I know it was the first pick for them in the draft, but Rylan Turner out of UCLA, forward, as John mentioned, I'm really excited about her. The most outstanding offensive player at the 2022 College Cup, 2023 Forward of the Year in the Pac-12, 42 goals, including 16 game winners for UCLA. That is not a stat line that I would be shaking a finger at. I think that is a lot to look forward to now that she's coming in lavender. Now, obviously, I'm not going to lie. I did not watch any UCLA matches before hearing of Turner's addition to racing, but she had several opportunities in the NCAA tournament to continue scoring and continue pushing the team forward. And for the most part, she did. Now, when the defenses got better, she was kind of slowed down. So I think finishing in the final third and continuing to develop in that area will be something she'll need to do. But who doesn't, right? Like, she's also probably 22. I don't know if I had that written down somewhere. I don't think I had her age written down, but she's in her early 20s. She's got a lot of room to improve, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her at racing for the next several years. Next round draft pick was Emma Sears, which was an Ohio State Buckeye, John's favorite team. Just kidding. Another forward, three-time All Big Ten honoree, one of four Buckeyes to record multiple hat tricks in program history, ranked 12th in career goals at Ohio State with 25 goals. So again, more firepower up front. And again, John's favorite player.
See, does it translate? That's all I'm curious about. We've seen more success with college players in the NWSL recently than we have other things, because it's still very much in women's soccer because not many NWSL teams had academies or prior. There's still that college to pro pathway heavily, but for me, soccer is such a weird thing to draft in, because it's so much more about, does this player fit the system and does this player work under the coach, than it is, oh, that player is great, they'll be perfect. Because we've seen even major superstars flop,
right,
when they're in the wrong system. So you could be the biggest star in the world, but if they're going to the wrong team, not going to matter.
They also added Linda Motlahelo. I'm sorry I butchered that. From South Africa, another forward. rounding out their trio of forwards um, from the draft. Their other draft pick was somebody I'm excited about, Sam Curry from the University of Iowa, a defender, one of 4 players in Iowa program history to earn first all-team North region, 2023 Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten tournament, and 11 appearances for Racing Louisville's W League team back in 2022. So she's somebody that Coach Bev and the rest of the staff are very familiar with, and she should slot in very easily, if not already be put into a potential starting role with the team on the back line. John, any other thoughts on the draft class from Racing Louisville?
I mean, not really. Like I said, I need to see how they do in action, see how they fit the system. I have faith that they believe they'll work out, but we'll have to see.
Absolutely. John, let's jump over to Lexington, as they have had a lot of new additions to the team. Of all of the new players that have been added, John, who are you most excited about? Give me one name.
Me personally, I can't pick one, but it's either Yannick Yakim, who is the Maltese international we brought in from Malta, or Azad Liadi, who is the MLS Next Pro guy we've got from Huntsville City. The reason I can't pick is Yankim. I don't know how to say his name. Yankim. I need to hear it. He has, I think, the most potential. Like, this guy's international. He's played in the UEFA Nations League type thing. He's played against England. Like, he's very much a top dog of Malta, and he's played well. So he's gonna be very interesting to see in Liadi, because we've lured him away from Nashville, and a lot of Nashville fans were not pleased with this. And we got him on a transfer because he was originally announced as coming back. Now, I don't know if that was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna bring him back, like, in a plan, but they never actually like put pen to paper, or we actually transferred him. So that'll be interesting to see what that is about. I probably already know your pick for this.
Of course, you know my pick. It is, of course, Cameron Lancaster. I am really excited to see him stay in Kentucky and move over to Lexington. His firepower in the playoffs, I think, is exactly what Lexington needs to put. Because Diouf is coming back, yes?
Lexington now has at least 3 guys who have been proven to score double-digit goals at the professional level, with Lancaster, Diouf, and Liadi.
Yeah. So I think Lancaster with Diouf, I know that's going to be lethal. And if Azadi is as potent as he seems to be, again, stepping up to, the USL League One here, I think that will be a trifecta that could rival at their level, what Messi, Busquets, and Jordi Alba and everybody down at Inter Miami is offering. So I'm really excited to see those 3.
You mean nothing?
Shut up. Okay, look. What happened in Saudi doesn't count. It's not the regular.
I'm not talking what happened in Saudi. I'm talking what happened in Hong Kong.
What, 4?
Y'all are about to cause an international crisis. You have the Hong Kong government calling for an investigation.
Go on, tell the audience what's going on, because I'm just going to breeze over it.
Suarez didn't play in Hong Kong, and everyone got pissed. 40,000 people came to see Messi, and he didn't even play. And it's not like, supposedly he was injured, but they never announced that. He just didn't play. They never was like, oh yeah, he's hurt or whatever. It was just like, oh, no Messi.
Yeah. Anyways, they absolutely got embarrassed in Saudi Arabia. What was that, 2 weeks ago? At this point, um, getting beat in both of those games very badly. Messi didn't even really play much in the second one, so fun times. But the reason we bring up Inter Miami is because we will have former Inter Miami assistant coach and current head coach of Lexington Sporting Club, Darren Powell, on the show on Wednesday. So make sure you come back here on Wednesday, Lexington fans, for that full interview with Coach, and get excited to see the full season preview from us. Any other notes on Lexington before we move on, John?
Not currently, no.
Sweet. So let's pop back over to Lou City. And really, the biggest move for me for them so far this offseason was the departure of their starting keeper, Oliver. I was not excited to see that information come across my email inbox just because I know how talented he is. And
I saw it coming.
you did? What? How did you see this coming?
When they signed the MLS Next Pro Goalkeeper of the Year on a loan.
See, I thought that was just to get him like some backup experience. I didn't think about it as like, oh
You
well.
don't sign. There's no way Austin FC agrees to send the goalkeeper of the year in the MLS Next Pro to a team without going like, he's got to get experience. He's got to get playing time. Because for those that don't know, loans have rules in them.
True.
They want like it has to meet so much, or you either the other team has to pay for the difference, or they'll just take the guy back.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see them doing that for a season-long loan if Semele was going to stay.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I should have saw that coming too, but I didn't, and it was
He
still
had an insane
heartbreaking.
year. He was the reason Lou City was in the playoffs.
Yep.
And he is what, 19?
Yeah. Very young.
Like the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
That he was going to make a jump.
But I didn't think it would be to the MLS. I thought he would do another year, maybe two with Lou City, and then he would, maybe get an opportunity to go abroad somewhere. So I was interested to see Philadelphia Union sneaking around and just picking him off the roster. But best of luck to Semele as he goes on to the MLS. Hopefully he can make an impact there, and who knows, maybe he's playing for the national team one day. John, what was your biggest move from Lou City this offseason so far?
I'm forgetting his name. It was like their first big move. And we had talked about it briefly.
Oh, the guy from Pittsburgh?
Got together. Yes.
Oh, I forgot his name. Bro, that happened so long ago. I forgot all about that, to be honest.
It was literally like the first thing. Like after they announced the returners, he was like 2 days later.
Yeah.
He I think is huge. In typical Pittsburgh fashion, they offload all their stars. But bringing him in, I think, shores up the back line and gives them a good attack. I think in general, it's not for Lou City this offseason. It's not about who's brought in, it's who's left.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Owenby is left?
Ordinez?
Yeah, Ordinez.
Ordinez, thank you. That's what the little thing means.
Of the core, it's like Owenby is the only one left.
Really? What's his name? Harris is still there too.
Is he of the like trophy core or whatever they consider them?
I guess Owenby would be the end of that then.
It's like it's like the core that I've seen. I've seen different people throw out different names. But the consistent names are Del Piccolo, Lancaster, Owenby. He went to Memphis. What's his name? He left in like December.
Can't say I remember.
I'm forgetting. Martinez? No, Ordonez. He scored that insane goal.
Oh crap. Hold on. You said he went to Memphis?
Yeah, he signed with Memphis Final 1.
This is great radio here where we're both just silently pecking at our keyboards, desperate for our internet to move faster. No, I don't want the 2023 roster. Memphis homepage. How about that weather a couple of weeks ago, though?
What, the snowstorm?
Yeah. How much did y'all get over there?
Like 6 inches.
Jeez. So he was a forward, right?
I think so.
No, he was not a forward. Midfielder. And if somebody would kindly post it in the chat, I would appreciate it. Defender, maybe. No way. None of these people look familiar. Oh, there he is. Oscar Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Yeah.
I knew it was an O.
Yeah. They all.
Yeah,
Memphis
like
also
him,
signed
Del
somebody from
Piccolo.
Seattle.
Del Piccolo, Owen B, Lancaster. Like, those are all, like, the core from what I know. Like, the guys who have won, been there forever, been there a while. Like, all this, all that with the team. And now it's down to Owen B.
Yep. Which, at the end of last season, I was a bit critical of Ownby being the kind of last one standing. So I had thought he would be the one to go and Lancaster would stay. But nonetheless, here we are where those roles have flipped. Lou City is the only team that I believe has been in action. Lexington hasn't had a preseason match yet, right, John?
Not yet. Their first preseason one will be this weekend, though, against Columbus Crew 2.
Lou City did get a 2-2 draw with Austin FC out of the MLS down in Q2 Stadium in Texas, which was a very interesting game. I wish I could have watched it just because Lou City had to get back into it and scored a late equalizer. Scored a 51st minute equalizer to keep it to take the 2-1 lead. Sorry, I'm reading my notes. And then Austin FC got it evened again in the 80th minute. But one fun little note here. There was another connection here to Kentucky. Former Elizabethtown High School player and Belmont University star and former BGFC Golden Lion Jansen Wilson did get an assist on Wilson Harris's goal. So good job, Jansen. We're always proud of you. But the game was really good. And now Louisville will, I guess, host El Paso on the 7th. Is that today? No, that's Wednesday.
They're in Arizona for that, though, right?
Yeah, but they're the home team, per se.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and then it's the same out there with Sacramento before playing at St. Louis. Then the game that I know I will be at. John, are you going to be at the February 18th game?
What time was it?
That's right. I'm still
told you this is something I do not know. I would like to be there if we get the passes, but if it's at 10 a.m., which I doubt it will be.
God, that would be awesome.
I don't know if I can per se go to that.
Not up for a 10 a.m. Sunday kickoff in Louisville.
I'm down, but I just need to know what time it is. because like even USL1 like released a little thing where you could see all the teams preseason things, and this is like the one game that they don't know the time of.
So
So Lou City is literally saying, like, which we probably won't be allowed to release on here. They're literally saying we don't want anyone here. And to that point, people, it's the home teams that
yep,
decide if they're open to the public or not. So stop
agreed.
getting mad at Lex that their game is not streamed or open to the public against Lou City. Get mad at Lou City.
Yeah,
Home teams have advantage.
and from what I understand, right, the reason this game is at the practice facility of Lou City and not at the stadium is because the stadium grass will not be ready in time. Um, I believe that
That's other reasons, like that if it's at the practice facilities, the practice facility probably does not really have stands.
no,
It might have like might have a bleacher thing for like coaches or whatever to sit on, but they don't have 10,000
no,
seats like they do. Like, I know Lexington's is primarily because of getting security
yeah,
and all this stuff figured out for the stadium on such a short notice and stuff. Like, y'all. Plus, these aren't like the friendlies the big clubs play when they come here or whatever. These are literally like, I'm pretty sure when Lexington played Cumberland last year, it was like a weird thing of like unlimited subs, 30-minute periods. Like, this isn't like the NFL where they kind of play a traditional game structure, but they just like sub people all the time. Like, no, this is like, all right, we're going to do like a 7v7 30-minute type deal.
hey man,
Y'all, it's not.
a 7v7 Kentucky only soccer tournament, sign me up. I would love to see it. Take 7 out of
I'm just
Lexington,
saying
Louisville,
they do a lot of mixing it
yeah.
up. It's not a full on game per se. Some could be a full on scrimmage, but sometimes it's not always that way. So there's you're I get some of y'all are just fiending for stuff. But like this is not the NFL.
No,
This is not where you like preseason matches or like this whole festival. It's like these are solely for coaches, solely for that type deal. And it's also like if they stream their stuff or open it to the public, that allows other teams to see it too. And they might not want other teams to see stuff.
right. So hopefully we can attend that game. I'm really excited about it. And of course, we will share what we can from the match. So make sure that you're following us on all of our social media channels. Um, sorry, I got distracted by the comment here. Yes, John does not seem to like friendlies very much. No.
I find that I'm fine with them. They're just cash grabs, and I don't like when they're not done well
Right.
or smart, such as what Inter Miami is doing.
Ugh,
Inter Miami is literally caught
just burning
creating
money.
international bad rep for the MLS right now. Like they are traveling everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
El Salvador, Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, Japan, and they're like not playing messy and all this type of stuff just gives the MLS a bad rep. And it's not something you want when you're wanting the league to be more respected.
Yeah, and maybe Coach Darren will be able to kind of talk a little bit about that. I definitely don't want to capitalize the whole interview and talk about Inter Miami, but I do want to inquire about his experience down there. But it does seem like quite a cash burning effort, and I don't know what the experience that the players are getting and how that will add to another Leagues Cup run. Which the Leagues Cup group will include Tigres this time, so that'll be quite a challenge. And hopefully they go on the road. Like I would love to see them play down at Tigres for
They're
that.
not.
I know they're
They're
not,
not.
but
They've
that would
already
be
said
legit.
that. That's already what makes half the Leagues Cup stupid.
Indeed. And then kind of the anything else on Louisville, John, before I move on.
No.
Cool.
Like,
The last little bit of updates on kind of this season that I wanted to touch on before we head to our outro for the day. We will start adding a little bit more MLS and national soccer coverage. Obviously, we don't have a team here in this state, but I know how much.
we have two adjacent.
That's what I was going to say. We know that we have a lot of people that really like Nashville and a lot of people that really support Cincinnati. So we'll start doing a little bit of that, but it will be very minimal coverage on that. They have their own infinite amount of great shows that you can go watch and keep up with them. We want to keep our show relatively within the confines of the Bluegrass state. But John, anything else you want to talk about or anything before we head out today?
Honestly, I got nothing right now.
All right. So, with that, we will start our outro as soon as I find what I was going to talk about. I have a schedule. Okay. So again, reminders: February 7th on Wednesday, our next show, we will have Lexington Sporting Club coach Darren on the show live to do an interview. Make sure you send in any questions that you as fans want asked. You can either direct message us on social media or you can put it in the comments down for this video or just at us on X as well. We will then pivot on February 12th. We will have the captain of the Bowling Green Golden Lions, Mr. Michael Swerkos, the archer himself, will be back this season with the Golden Lions, and he's going to talk to us all about the upcoming season for them. We will not have a show on February 14th. John and I and everybody on the team is married, and we want to celebrate Valentine's Day, so we love our lovely partners in life. On February 19th, we will have Coach Danny Cruz from Lou City. He will be joining us live. Again, just like any of the other players or coaches, make sure you send us any questions that you may have. And then the final bit of news so far and pre-scheduled interviews that we have on February 21st, we will have Racing Louisville coach Bev on the show as well. So, John, with all of that out of the way, we always appreciate anyone who's willing to support the show. Got the QR code right over my shoulder. It stays there. You know what to do. Feel free to scan it. All of the money goes to help making the show even better. We always appreciate it. Never going to make it a requirement, though. But, John, we will now sign off for this episode of the Bluegrass Soccercast. Make sure you are on our website. We have a new website. Totally forgot about that. Don't click out just yet before I forget. We have a brand new website. Same URL, www.bgsc.show. We're going to be uploading more and more articles as the day goes on, as long as I don't misinterpret things again. Oops. And then we'll continue to post on our social media, which is X, TikTok, Instagram, at BG Soccercast, and of course, our YouTube channel, where you can catch the nice back catalog from all of our shows from last semester. But with all that out of the way, John, I'm Jimmy. That's Mr. John, and we will see you on the next one.